What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another week of picks and predictions for college football. And this is week 2. We're starting off the day with an absolute slugfest. We have Michigan, Texas, 4 versus 9. I think Texas is going to ease the win out of this one. Even though we're in Michigan, in the big house, I think that Michigan right now, after watching the game last week, I just think that the team just isn't up to that top tier level just yet. Maybe later down in the season after a few more go arounds of different play styles and things like that. The quarterback situation in Michigan, it looked good, but it definitely didn't look great. And I think that Texas, with a returning quarterback and a quarterback on the bench that's just as good, I think Texas' offense is really going to explode here and really take the win in 28-21. I think Texas is going to be in commanding position the entire game. Next noon game we have is Arkansas versus Oklahoma State. I have Arkansas easing the win out of this just barely. I think Arkansas every year looks really, really strong in the beginning, and it's not until they start really playing those SEC top tier talents when they start falling off. And no offense to OSU, I don't think that they're on par with teams like Georgia, Alabama, even like Tennessee. So even though they're ranked, I do think Arkansas is a better team than that matchup. And I have them winning 31-28. Next noon o'clock game we have is Tulane versus Kansas State. Tulane really has upped the ante with their teams that they're playing to really show committee, whatever, that they are a better group of 5 team. And I do think that this is Tulane's year to really get into the playoffs. I know last year was a little rocky start. The year before that, they were really good. But this is their year. This is their time. I think they're one of the last top tier group of 5 teams that haven't moved over. And I think they're going to beat Kansas State. Kansas State, to me, is an overrated team. They're in and out of the rankings every year. They're inconsistent. I know you can say a new year, new team, but the coach, everything about their program, it just screams, we win some, we lose some. And I think they're going to lose this one 35-28. Next noon game we have is Georgia Tech versus Syracuse. This is one of those bonus games that I was telling you about earlier. I think Georgia Tech, after that big win against Florida State in Ireland, that they have an opportunity to be put into the top 25 due to Texas A&M's loss this last weekend, because Texas A&M was like 20-ish. If they go back 6 rankings, they're going to be pushed out. Georgia Tech has an opportunity to get in there, and I do think the spread shows -3, kind of like a pick'em game, but I do have them beating Syracuse by at least 7. I don't really know enough about Georgia Tech's offense or any of their play style, because last year they weren't very good, so I didn't really follow too strongly on them. And right now, when they did play Florida State, they looked very strong, but that could have just been they're in Ireland. Florida State could have had a bad game, bad day. We don't know, but I do think they're going to come out on top over the Orange. Next Saturday game, like I said last week, the SEC likes to do these 12:45 start times, at least one game a week. Texas A&M, I have as a little question mark, so I'm not even sure if they're going to be ranked this time. The rankings come out tomorrow as recording this video, so I do think that Texas A&M is going to win this easy 50-3. Next slugfest, we have Georgia versus Tennessee Tech, the Golden Eagles. I don't think Golden Eagles are going to score a point in this game, and if they do, it would be late in the fourth quarter when Georgia has 4th strings in. It's going to be 65-0. It's going to be a complete blowout. Next 3:30 game on Saturday, we have Louisville versus the Gamecocks. This is another one of those bonus games. I think Louisville, if Georgia Tech doesn't get in, Louisville will be the next one in. They are just slightly out of the rankings this last AP poll votes. They were just slightly under them and Virginia Tech, but as we saw, Virginia Tech just lost to one of the worst FBS schools. So I think that Louisville in this game is going to dominate. It's going to be an easy cakewalk. Jackson State, no offense to them, they're just not on that kind of level, and I think Louisville is going to come out on this 49-10. Next Saturday game, 30-30, Notre Dame versus the NIU. We have the Huskies. The Fighting Irish are not going to play no games this week. They had a hard week last week. This is going to be a coast week. I think they're going to win by at least 30 points. The spread has -30. I think they're going to win by more than that. They're going to be 45-10. Next Saturday night game, we have Big 12 matchup, Utah versus Baylor. This is the grand ceremony for Utah's entry into the Big 12, and I think they're going to come out swinging hard against Baylor. They're going to win 35-14, and I have no doubt in my mind that Utah is going to take this conference by storm. They were one of the best programs in the Pac-12, and all the good teams in the Big 12 are essentially gone. So I think that Utah Arizona. They're going to come into this league and dominate. Next Saturday game at 4:15, we have Ole Miss versus Middle Tennessee. This is one of those blowout games. I have 56-3. Ole Miss should handle this easily. Big 3:30 game on Saturday. We have the Iowa Hawkeyes versus Iowa State. This is going to be a slugfest over there in Kinnick. Iowa, last week's offense in the second half went off. Big numbers. Cade McNamara has played the best game of football he's ever played for the Iowa Hawkeyes. I think they're going to come out here. They're going to do what they do best with Coach Ferentz back on the sideline. But I think that given the fact that this is an in-town rivalry, it is going to be close. I think Iowa is a significantly better team than Iowa State, but it's due to that in-town rivalry. I think Iowa State's going to bring this level of effort that they don't usually bring. No offense, but it's going to be a very tight one, and I think Iowa's going to come out on top 21-17. Next 6 o'clock game on Saturday, we have the University of Miami versus the Florida A&M Rattlers. This is another one of those games you can just turn off the channel. It's going to be like 60-3, 60-0. I think you could put any number from Miami here, and nothing's going to change the outcome. Next game. This is a very interesting one. Saturday at 7 o'clock. Alabama played this team last year. It was very close. No one expected them to do that. A rain delay happened, and the game kind of went in Alabama's favor after that momentum change. I do think Alabama's going to win this with ease. But we can't take last year, we can take last year's situation in consideration, but due to the fact that Alabama is just a better program, better recruits, I think that they're going to win 35-3 in this one. Next Saturday night game, we have Missouri versus Buffalo. This is another one of those games where Missouri is just going to come in, handle business. You might be able to see their backups play, see some rotation players, see some different looks. But I do think that Missouri is going to win this 45-3. Next Saturday night prime time, we have Kansas 24 versus Illinois, Fighting Illini coming out of the Big Ten. Illinois is one of those sleeper teams in the Big Ten that we don't know what they're going to do. Sometimes they have a really crappy season. Sometimes they start the season off strong. This is not one of those seasons for Illinois. I am sorry, but I am going to go with the Jayhawks on this one. Win by 7, handle the business down there in Jayhawk territory, and come off the season strong. Primetime game down in Ohio State. This is another one of those sleepy games. 45-3 against Western Michigan. No doubt in my mind that Ohio State can't handle business here. They're going to win this with ease. Next primetime game at 7:30. We have LSU versus the Nicoles. I think I said that name right. I'm not sure. But LSU's going to come out easily winning this by 60, maybe 50 plus. I don't even think the other team's going to score. I know LSU's coming off a hard loss, but this is the time to regain that energy, regain that confidence that they can still compete. I know the coach in the press conference was very upset that LSU can't finish games. So I think this game, they're going to run up the score. They already paid this team to show up and lose, so you might as well just score as many points as you can. Big primetime game Saturday evening, 7:30. We have Tennessee versus NC State. I think that NC State's going to come out on top on this one. I know the spread has -7 for Tennessee, but NC State has a lot more to prove. I know Tennessee has a lot to prove. They always be struggling in the SEC. They're always having a hard time getting over that Alabama, that Georgia hump. But I think this is NC State's time to shine, to really show that they can compete at the highest level. I think this game's going to be led by Tennessee most of the time. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. It's going to be 24-21. And then NC State's going to, in the last 2 to 3 minutes, is going to have a drive and then score a touchdown and ultimately win the game. Do I think that Tennessee has an opportunity to be the better team here? Yes. But I think that NC State has that home field advantage, and they have a chance here to prove to the world or the country that they can compete at this next level. Next big game here, we have Houston versus Oklahoma. Houston has been having a hard couple years now in their football program, and I think they're in the rebuilding stage. Oklahoma's going to wipe this team off the map, 42-10. Next primetime, 8 o'clock game, we have Appalachian State versus Clemson. If you watch my video, up in the corner, I have a link to it about Clemson's future. They need to win these games. Appalachian likes to steal games from teams like Michigan multiple times. So there's no cakewalk here, but I do think that Clemson can come out on top here because it's not a consistency thing for Appalachia. But Clemson needs to get these wins. They cannot afford to lose against teams that aren't good. overall. So I have them winning, but prepare for a dogfight. And then Clemson, I think in the second half, will take control of the game, and from that point. Next late night game, 10 o'clock, we have Oregon versus Boise State. I have Oregon winning 35-10 on this one. There's not much to say. Oregon will handle business. I'm not sure how many points they're going to score, but it's just going to go from there. Next primetime game we have is Arizona versus NAU. There's nothing to say about this game. It's going to be 49-0, 49-3, 49 plus. Super easy. NAU isn't very good known for their football program here in Arizona, but I do think U of A is going to handle business. Last game of the day, USC versus Utah State. I think Utah State is a good team in their own right, but they cannot compete at this next level. USC is going to come out scoring big points, rotating players, getting their playbook down, and it's going to be 49-10, no question. That's going to be it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you like this type of content. And please, down below, leave your comments on how you think the week's going to go. And please check out my last video about how Clemson can compete at the next level. That's going to be it. Peace.